Hello AP Biology students, let's go over the 12th section in Unit 7. And in this section, we're going to start our talk about how we classify organisms in a field of biology known as taxonomy. Taxonomy is basically the branch of biology that identifies, names, and organizes all of life into special categories. And like our discussions early on in the year, this field is pretty difficult when we try to figure out what species belong to which groups. When discussing the nature of science and how just difficult life can be just because of how diverse life is, I like to remind my students that this is a ever-growing field. This field learns and gets better and more accurate year after year. And to make it even harder, we classify organisms just in like common day, speech differently than we classify organisms in taxonomy. So what I'm trying to get across here is just understand that this is an ever-growing field, that we're still getting better and better at classifying organisms, and our tools are getting better and better. We use something in taxonomy called binomial nomenclature. This is a two-name naming system that classify organisms into species. Typically, we use Latin in binomial nomenclature since it's a dead language and the meanings aren't going to change. And when we classify organisms in this binomial nomenclature, we either are going to italicize it or underline it. As you can see up above, we can have our genus name first and our species name second. Genus is always going to be capitalized, while species is never capitalized. We can also abbreviate the genus name with a first letter and a period, but that's not a requirement. So again, with binomial nomenclature, we go genus first and then species. I'm just writing genus and species here, but we would actually use the genus name and the species name for a particular group of organisms. Now, this is all really based off the Linnaean classification system, where we're going all the way from domain down to species. And we're going to go from least specific here with domain to most specific here with species. This classification system goes from domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So as we go up the list, we're getting more and more specific until a group of organisms are going to only fit in this one category. Here we are at the least specific. This means that there are many groups of organisms that belong to a domain. For example, later on we're going to learn about the three domains. We're going to learn that all of life fits in these three domains. So each of these domains has hundreds to thousands of species in that one category, the domain. But only one group of organisms is going to fit into a species. And remember, species are organisms that can mate and produce fertile offspring.